Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Hey, hey, hey.
How you doing?
How you doing? Happy Daylight Day.
It's D-Day, y'all.
Hey. First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
What up, what up? There it is. What's going on, y'all? Happy Daylight Day, Friday, March 3rd, 2023.
Man. Sometimes I feel like it's just me, myself, and I.
Yeah. It's just me, myself, and I today.
But it's not. Everybody's coming through.
Everybody. You're feeling good on this Friday? On this Daylight Day?
Man, feeling extra good. Back in my new place.
Oh. You're not in the void anymore?
Live from Life is God Studios. How I'm looking, how I'm sounding. Let me hold on, let me turn my headphones up.
What up? Good morning. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul Beeee.
Uh-oh.
Everybody that's coming on in and handling business around here. What's going on here? It's got stuff jumping around. That's what's up.
Yeah. It seemed like you hit it with the fat finger.
Well, no, I didn't touch nothing. I'm just doing it by itself.
No.
The spirit of De La Soul jumping us around.
I guess it really was me, myself, and for a second.
I guess so. Thanks for joining us. I want to give a shout out to the 630 crew over there on the radio channel. You heard a whole lot of native tongues this morning because it is Daylight Day, Friday, March 3rd. This entity called Rock the Bells has declared it Daylight Day. This is also the day that De La Soul's 3 Feet High and Rising was released back in 1989. And this is the day that all of their music is finally going to be streamed on all the streaming networks. So rest in peace, True Boy the Dove. This is Paul Beeee the Dove. I'm here with Buddi3 Da Gawd. Fresh edition of First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the DS.
And Buddy is finally settled in the spot. Life is God Studios in full effect.
Man,
how you feeling? How you feeling over there, bro?
It's been a journey. Yeah, I had to stay in a hotel, Airbnb, halfway house, a brothel. Had to move around a little bit, but finally the house is ready. We're in it. Man, even after we had moved in and got into the house for a little bit, there was some issues with the water. I don't know what's going on with the county out here doing their jobs, but it took them several days to come out and turn the water on. So that was very frustrating. But they finally got it done, finally did their job, and we're good. So yeah, I'm happy to be stable again.
There you go. And you already whipped it up down in the studio already too, huh?
Oh yeah. That was the first thing. That was the first thing I had to do, put together the studio, put together the room, so we can get busy.
He's like, baby can sleep on the couch right now. Daddy gotta get the studio together immediately.
Well, they got situations set up. I'm just not gonna do them like that. But yeah, man, had to make it happen.
Yeah. Let us know if you're hearing. I'm hearing all kinds of glitches going on right now. Something funny is happening with the program again. Let us know if you're getting weird glitches. I love our chat chimers, who's also our backup tech crew. So give us some feedback on that. I'm going to jump in the chat, man. Everybody's here this morning. Pop says, good Friday morning, First Sky, and love to all who are about it. I told you Pop's like Master P and them, didn't I? Did I tell you about that?
About it.
I was so shocked when he pulled that Master P tape out one time. I was like, what you know about the soldiers? Brooke says, good morning. Brooke is up early this morning with a good morning. What's happening?
Hey.
Leia Keisha says, happy Friday. Judy Princess
Yeah,
says, good morning,
yeah.
fam. Pop says, good morning, Brooke, and love to you and Zane. That's what's up. I don't know if Zane's up, but if Zane's up, good morning to you, Zane. Arrows
Dude.
402 says, let the first Sky show begin. Hurry, step right in. Can't afford to pass it by. Guaranteed to make you sign. Okay. That's what's up.
I
With the
don't know if I know
lyrics.
that one.
It started to get familiar to me, and then I lost it at the end, so I'm not sure. Let me know where that one's from. Sounds like wait, is that a De La Soul line? Hold up. Okay, well, yeah. Give me some confirmation on that one. I want to know where that's from. Also, Pops is giving you a congrats, buddy, getting into your spot.
Thank you.
Josh Stakes says happy Friday, friends. That's what's up.
Yeah.
This Friday is, I guess, the official day. Yay.
That's Amy H.
Yeah, that's the AVH says, hey fam. Wanna Loose gives us a good morning. Pop says Blue Magic lyrics. Okay.
Blue Magic.
Pop's calling the lyrics out. So we got everybody over here from he said from the song Sideshow from Blue Magic. Oh, he's singing the oldies on that one. Okay. Okay. I can hear that now.
Time.
That's what's up. We're gonna are you feeling hearing the glitch too? I'll tell you what.
Let me see what that is real quick.
Yeah, do me a favor. Yeah, jump back in. I'll talk to the fam real quick. Know what's going on. Yeah, we're trying a little technical difficulties. Of course, this is we are right back out of the void into a new studio. So there's gonna be something going on with the tech. So we'll see what's happening here and figure out how to get that happening. But yeah, shout out to Buddy for finally getting into his spot after all that turmoil. And here we are. We're back. Of course, today we're going to be talking to the brothers senators, Terrell McKinney and Justin Wayne. There was a big town hall the other day, earlier in the week. Huge town hall. I don't think I've seen this many black entities in one spot in a long time. It was pretty incredible. So I actually was able to go to that and was there with Kimra, and we were sitting at the same table and just kind of in awe of what was going on there. But we'll have the senators on to talk about that town hall and see what they think, and if anything came of it. I walked away really feeling like there was more black unity in that I had ever seen. So, even we were getting together with everybody that day, so it was kind of a trip. We'll talk about. That's what it's all about, man. That's what the whole conversation was about: the unity, getting together. Willie Barney in Black Men United, which is Willie Hamilton, put this town hall on together. Which, if you know anything, that's a pretty epic thing right there for the two Willies to get together and do something like that. So there's just a lot of unity to speak of here that's going on, and I can't wait to hear what the senators thought about that meeting.
Man,
so we'll definitely
beautiful thing.
Beautiful thing. Man, I meant to tell you, buddy, to film all the places that you was at and all that, because like every time you tell this epic story, I'm like, you should have. You go on trip when you look back on all the places that you guys had to stay in order to get to the new house. What the old house was, what I'm saying? Like, document that stuff, man. Document it.
I might have some footage. I might have something around, but yeah, man. I mean, it's just again the realities of the housing saga. It was. I think they said that we had like 100 people. The company that we were dealing with had 100 people moving in on one day. It was a crazy. So we got into issues of employment and being short staffed, but yeah, it was a lot. It was a big headache, but
on vacation.
Man, yeah, right. So I'm glad to be settled, be in the space, but just shows you the realities of housing and how hard to just get in a place, man. And that's when you got your ducks in a row, not to mention those who might need assistance. It's hard out there.
That's real, man. That's real. Document it all. It'd be very interesting to go look back and see, when you're in it, you don't be thinking about it. You be trying to get to the next thing, but stop and snap that one photo, man, just so you can remember that Airbnb y'all had to be in that time and all that. You know what I mean?
For
It's an
sure.
ongoing story, like you said. It's an ongoing story about housing. And so anyway, yeah, just glad that you settled. Everybody's happy. Everybody's safe.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
how far are you? How far are
Definitely
you away from
good.
downtown now?
Man, definitely cut my trip in about so before when I was like an hour away. Yeah. I'll kind of compare it to this. Like before I was like living in Ralston.
Mhm.
Now I'm living in like kind of northwest. Yeah, yeah. So about
Yeah,
15-20 minutes from downtown.
that's what's up, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
It's not too
congratulations
bad.
on that. Can't wait to go check out your new pad.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. We were talking about that last night. Definitely have to calm down. But yeah, hopefully we can stay here until we buy. That's the next goal is home
Yeah.
ownership, and we're definitely talking about that. Um, there's some programs and some things out there that I wonder if it's statewide or national. So we'll be talking about that as well as we get more into that as far as just the journey into home ownership. I mean that's a big topic that we talk about here on the show. So yeah, yeah. Insight.
Beautiful. Blackity black. This is a good morning. What's happening with some sunshine? Supposed to warm
Hey,
up today too, so appreciate that a little bit.
nice.
50s, which is still a California winter, but feels good in Omaha.
Take it,
That's
man. Take
all
what you can get.
I'll take it. Judy Pridler says, "Just want you and your family safe." I heard that.
Oh yeah,
That's
oh
exactly.
yeah, man. And I will say I would give kudos to the babies, man. Like they've been awesome. They've been awesome making the best whatever situations that we have to go through. So yeah, yeah. I will say one thing about this, just kind of a life thing, for everybody out there. Even though we were moving around, there were certain items like the kids' blankets, bottles, just certain items of comfort. You know what I mean? And you and I, Paul, were kind of talking about, how we do the show and not canceling the show, and like what are the necessities, what are the things you need to keep the thing, to keep the show constant, and then what can change. I was able to learn through this. Like there are some things that if you can take some items and hold some things to yourself, and be flexible with those things, you can hold a system or a feeling of normalcy and a feeling of stability, even in a seemingly unstable situation. And the kids responded, pretty well to being able to sleep with the same blanket, same pillow, just small things like that. Kind of seem to keep them at bay, keep them comfortable. And that kind of can apply that to other areas of life.
That's what's up, man. Everybody get a jetpack. Everybody got their own.
Yeah.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah, keep that going, man. On all vacations and everything else, man. Like
Oh yeah,
stay cloud hopping on that.
man. Yeah, yeah. That's Seven's language.
I love it. I love it. Appreciate it, man. I'm and like I said, congratulations again. I'm glad that you were finally settled in the spot, and now it's all upwards from here
Yeah, man.
as far as getting our text straight and everything with the thing. So that's what's up, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate everybody that's joining us today in the chat, all the ghost listeners as well, and again, all of the people on the radio channel, the 630 Club that gets in and checks things out. Really appreciate you guys jumping in and checking out the set list this morning. It was a lot of native tongues, a lot of De La Soul, because it is De La Soul Day on this March the 3rd, 2023. Rock the Bells has declared the hashtag Daylight Day. So we'll be talking about De La Soul and the impact of what's going on, and also the recent death of Trugoy the Dove, one of the three.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, we'll talk a little bit about that today because we're still in the 50th year of hip hop, and we're gonna always talk about some hip hop trivia and some hip hop things. 3 Feet High and Rising was their first album. You guys probably know the hit song "Me, Myself, and I" that was on it. De La Soul kind of took over things back in 1989, and this, as a matter of fact, March 3rd is when that album dropped. So there's a whole bunch of threes lining up for 3 Feet High and
Mm,
Rising. Three is the magic number, like they say, and it's a trip. 34 years ago, on March 3rd, 1989, 3 Feet High and Rising dropped with the three-man group De La Soul, and also today on the 3rd of March on 2023, all of their
mm.
catalog is finally being able to be listened to in their entirety. So you can go on your streaming services now and check that out. It's the full catalog streaming on 3/3/23. So for the first time, you'll be able to hear 3 Feet High and Rising on a streaming service on Spotify or whatever. You weren't able to hear that before because of legal stuff, and now they finally got their catalog released. It's a shame, they were on that journey when Trugoy the Dove passed away. So it's unfortunate he's not able to see this day, but we are, and that's gonna be bumping throughout my day for sure. So De La
Yeah,
Soul
definitely.
is hip hop. Can you imagine Can you imagine hip hop without De La Soul?
And I kind of want to because you had mentioned that that 3 Feet High and Rising album was kind of paramount, seminal to your life and growing up, and how you view music and just life in the world. And I do want to I asked the question and I want you to marinate on it and come back to it. But how do you think this is going to impact culture? As far as, again, it's a whole new generation that's going to be introduced to De La. What kind of cultural shift do you think this could possibly have, and what kind of cultural shift did it have when it first dropped, as far as your memory? So again, it's about 15 minutes into the hour, so you don't have to answer that now. Go ahead, marinate on that, and let's get the show started in the right way. We do have several things to talk about. I think you mentioned the senators will be coming through today. Definitely love to hear their take on that city hall, that town hall. And for those of you who in the chat were there, would definitely love to hear your takeaways from it. Did you leave feeling hopeful? As Paul mentioned, he felt good about the unity. How did you feel leaving that situation? So definitely would love to hear from you. Also, diving into the bills, continuing looking at what's going on with the bills, getting good feedback about our legislature coverage. Kind of didn't plan on what that would be or how this season will look, but that's kind of how it's folded out, and we like that, to keep it organic. We figured that's the next logical step in the conversation. We got the people riled up with Freedom Summer. We got the people to the polls with Ballot of the Bullet, and now it's time to get them to the Capitol to support these bills and to support the senators that we got in position. So we'll definitely be looking at a couple bills, namely LB 631, which will require board members to miss no more than 3 hearings a year, talking about the parole board, which is a conversation that we've had in the past. So we'll definitely look at that. Another bill coming from Senator Terrell Mckinney. Put some respect on his name. Got to say the whole thing. So definitely big shout out to him. Also, for those of you who are on Snap, there's some news coming out that you might want to pay attention to. Again, there's a bill to extend pandemic-era food stamp benefits, but it's up for hearing on Thursday. This definitely might be something that you want to get down and testify or write something for, because
actually, I think it was yesterday, Thursday. Actually, this is
yesterday, Thursday. Okay. Apologize.
This is one we were going to talk about Wednesday and try to get people down. So hopefully, if anybody went down, we can get some news from them about how that hearing went.
Yeah, but it's still important to find out what's going on, especially, again, if you're depending on those SNAP benefits. LB 84 could be very impactful to what you got going on.
Yep.
Now, also looking at another bill that's coming out the legislature, the Conrad bill, which is very, very important to us as far as what we're doing here on First Sky. Of course, we talked about $40,000 price tags being tied to documents that some of our partners are trying to get their hands on to do their job. And now there's a bill that might assist in that. So we're going to talk about that and more. Of course, as always, if there's anything on your hearts, your minds that we're not discussing that you feel like we should get into, feel free to drop that into the chat. Let your mind be free. Let your voice be heard. Buddy the Guy, Paul B, all of you. First Sky Omaha. Let's go.
Let's do it. What up? Good morning. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you chat chimers, all of you ghost listeners, thanks for joining us on this Friday, March the 3rd, 2023. Hashtag De La Day. Appreciate you guys joining us today. Yes. We will be celebrating De La Day all day long. If you have any De La Soul albums, go check them out. Break out the old school if you got the old school. I'm gonna break out a tape that I bought back in 1989 and listen to that on a tape deck. So we'll see how that holds up. But
Man,
this
I
is
gotta see what my guy New Face is doing to celebrate this day, man. New Face is quickly becoming known as a hip hop historian. He's down here in Atlanta. Cool cat. Definitely would like to see what he's almost like the Black Narwhal, if you will.
okay. That's what's up. Also, what's going on today on this third day is De La Soul's full catalog be streaming on all the streaming services. So check them out on Spotify, and I encourage you to listen to 3 Feet High and Rising, which was their first album, and it was released on this day in 1989, March 3rd. So this is De La Day, hashtag De La Day. Go ahead and make a thing. Rock the Bell started this thing, and we're gonna continue it. So
Man,
appreciate
speaking
everybody
of
that's.
that,
Mhm.
really quick with Rock the Bells. I just want to show this wholesome video of Queen Latifah rocking out to some De La and you know honoring people. Can you relate to a sister enough to make you holler and scream? Hey, yo, take it from here, Queen. It's even better I think I'm about you to get into precisely what I am about to do. The De La party. I think this was again a celebration for Dave.
Yep, yeah, celebration for Dave happened last night. If those of you don't know about De La Soul, they kind of were the grandfathers of this whole native tongues movement, and of which Queen Latifah and Moni Love, who you just saw, was on there. So that was it was deep. Dig into it. Native tongues, definitely check it out. It's De La Day. Check that out. Moni Love, that's right.
Man.
Moni Love is back on. So that's what's going on, Miss Erica Felt. Good morning to you. So definitely check it out, man. You know, we're all about the impact of the arts on the culture, and the way that the black community and the culture got moved. Not even just the black community, worldwide. Hip hop is a race unto itself, and the whole world got moved by certain points in hip hop history. De La Soul, 3 Feet High and Rising on this day in 1989 was one of them, in a big way. So happy De La Day, and happy Friday, yay! Like y'all say, yay! Let's get it moving, get it going. We definitely have the brothers senators Terrell, Mckinney, and Justin Wayne. Put some respect on their names coming in today and talk about this town hall that just happened, and what we saw there. A recap of the town hall, and also a recap of the bills that they're pushing and what they got going on as well. So we'll get a little legislative report from them, and we have also got a few more minutes. This is kind of some positive news on this De La Day. A couple things that we want to talk about. I ran into Leo Lewis over at Malcolm X Memorial Foundation, man, and we was standing there, a couple brothers almost in tears, talking about Brother Marshall Taylor in the honor that Brother Marshall Taylor has just gotten. If you don't know who Marshall Taylor is, first of all, punch yourself in the face. Second of all, if you don't know who Marshall Taylor is, what's wrong with you? Yeah, he was the one that had the Afro American bookstore. And by the way, that legacy is still existing as well through his wife, and yeah, he was the source of so much mentorship and knowledge around our area there that it's a really beautiful thing that he's getting the street named after him.
Man, yeah.
Yep. So yeah, lots of good things to talk about today, man, and also keep everybody abreast of what's going on with some of these bills and legislature and so on and so forth. Let's go ahead and jump into it. But before we do that, I see how excited Miss Erica Felt is. That's me too. Me too. Seeing Moni Love, thinking about some songs like "Potholes in My Lawn." She says, "I'm excited to bump today." That's what's up, man. Really appreciate that. Rick Fulton in the chat says, "I see Wanda watching this morning." Yeah, Wanda's always here, man. Appreciate that. Oh, I missed Brother Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum. First Sky family.
Peace.
Good to see you, brother. Ariel's 402 says, "When I was a kid, I couldn't get comfortable. My mom gave me the belt." Oh, okay. Well, that's why you the man you are today. That's what's happening. He says 3 Omaha local community members had streets renamed after them. Who are the other 2? Are you talking about recently, or the ones that we know about from the past? Let me know. Let me know what's going on. It's an interesting thing when they start naming streets after folks, and the meaning behind that, and what that how that affects the city and the pride of the city, and honors the people doing things for the city and all that. So very interesting stuff. Rick was saying, "I'm gonna get a street named after me." I heard that.
I don't know. Ain't there? Don't you got to pay for that? And isn't there like a cost associated? First of all,
I talked a little bit to Willie Hamilton about this, who's the one that got John Beasley's street naming, and I think he was instrumental in Terrence Crawford's street naming as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I do
Pops.
remember one of that.
Yeah, Pops' uncle Jesse Allen had a street named after him too. It's over there on Decatur. So we got somebody in our family. Yep, Patricia Allen's dad. Yeah, so Uncle Jesse. Jesse Allen got a street name after him too. So what Willie Hamilton was saying was that somebody else has to petition for that for the family. The family can't or something like that. So, or the family could be a part of it, but some other entity organization has to petition for it. So anyway, he's done a couple of them. We can have him on. We've been talking about having Willie Hamilton on anyway, and we can ask him about that when he comes on. But yeah, it's a really interesting thing how they do that, and I consider it a great honor. Who else did we saw Kathy Hughes get her street naming as well.
I want to say John Beasley. Didn't he just get a street named after himself?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Willie Hamilton was instrumental in helping John Beasley get that one. That was one of the latest ones. So yeah, this is great, man. I'm glad to see Marshall Taylor. You can't go down Lake Street and heading up to 30th Street without thinking about the African American bookstore and his legacy there, and how powerful a thing it is that the African American bookstore is there. So that's what's up, man. That's what's up. Brother Jonathan Benjamin Alvarado is in the chat. What's going on, man? Live from Texas. He says, but they ain't streaming that crazy EP I shared with you and who is Jeff in the De La Soul skits. Bro, brother Jonathan Benjamin Alvarado took me over to the Hi-Fi House, and he had a record that he bought from back in the 80s. That was a single off of the 3 Feet High and Rising. I told you about this already. There was 2 grooves on the record.
That's the record. That's the record.
You set the needle down in one groove, you heard a whole different song than the second groove on the same side, which is, like I said, I'd never seen that before. It kind of blew my mind. So, yeah, I don't know if they're gonna release that one. I don't know, but let's ask Mark Manor, because Mark Manor hit me up talking about there's some stuff we can order, and that Mac might be one of them, bro. We'll see, but that was legendary when I heard that and saw that. He was like, "This is one of my prized possessions," and I don't blame him. I don't blame him. So that's what's up, man. Hashtag Daylight Day. What's going on? Rick Fulton is asking, how did the meeting go Monday night with Mckinney about the money for North O? I think it went well, and we talked about that when we came on. When we have the senators on, we'll talk to them about that meeting, see what they say, what they said about it, and how they felt about it. I walked away feeling like there was some actual unity going on in the Black community there. It was packed. It was at the Highlander Accelerator, and they packed the building out. So that's what's up. Brianna Full says, I missed the Hi-Fi House, man. Me too.
Man. Yeah. I'm seeing some other entities come out with some Hi-Fi House-esque type programming and things like that.
Yeah.
Like, man, yeah. Omaha just didn't know what they had.
Even in Omaha, there's a couple entities, there's a couple record stores that are going that route. And
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like, man, you ain't gonna be able to. You can't get what the original did, though. You can't get what the original did. Man. So anyway, Hi-Fi House put us on the map, man. Shout out to Kate. Yep, it was exactly. That's what's up. Man. Well, let's jump into it before the brothers come through. Once again, you're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the DS.
What's going on, everybody in the chat who's already here, ready to go? Ariel's 402 says, don't be scared to hit the like. 191 subscribers over there on YouTube. Appreciate that very much. Share the show if you're on YouTube. Share the show if you're on Facebook. If you would share it on your page, it'd be great. We'll get as many people in the conversation as we can. And let's go ahead and jump into it, buddy. What's on the agenda today?
Man, well, we'll kick off with the bills again, letting the people know what's going on in the Capitol and on the legislative floor, and what's going on with the bills that might be impacting your life, especially if you are part of the SNAP program. There are bills, or there is a bill, I should say, that might change provisions to your benefits. Again, this is LB 84, which is titled "Change Provisions Relating to the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program," other known as SNAP. There was a hearing yesterday, so the opportunity to have your voices heard on that may have passed. But again, you should definitely be aware and pay attention to what this bill is about. In Nebraska, for instance, SNAP program money is extended by unicameral until the end of September. Again, this deals with COVID over the short term of COVID. Both Nebraska and Iowa families need not worry about losing the extra benefits that have helped them weather job and loss and inflation over this COVID pandemic period. Low-income families, again, in the U.S. will be faced with more difficult choices starting Wednesday, the first of the month. A bill in the Nebraska legislature could help Nebraska's again past September, and that is LB 84. So if this is, if you're on SNAP benefits, this is something that you definitely want to get behind and support, or at least get your legislator to get your senator to support if it goes to the floor, or if they're in the committee that this goes through. The Center on Budget Policy and Priorities called SNAP the nation's most important and effective anti-hunger program. The Douglas County Health Department estimates nearly 13% of folks living in Omaha and Council Bluffs are living with food insecurity, 8% of which qualify for SNAP assistance in the state, the large majority being families with children. So again, First Sky is all about the babies, and SNAP definitely is the families that are, taking care of the babies, man. It estimates that SNAP lifts some 32,000 people above the poverty line in Nebraska, including 17,000 children on average every year. So again, if this bill does not pass, all of those thousands could be at jeopardy. Could be you. So again,
could be a lot of us, man. There's a whole bunch of folks that got full-time jobs, even some work at Walmart, even and still got to get SNAP benefits. So this affects a lot of people.
Definitely. Yeah. Shout out to Senator Hornacek, Mike Hornacek, or actually, Mike Hornacek is the CEO of Together Omaha, who's helping sponsor this bill.
That's what's up. All right, we'll keep our eye on it and keep you abreast of that. That woman in the chat says, I won't change it, but we'll allow it to stay the same. 184% of the poverty level longer. Cold part is much of the country uses 200% of the poverty level. So we're fighting to still be behind. Yeah.
It's kind of that gray area that people fall in where they make too much money, but not enough to survive, but too much to get assistance.
Right. And it's so heavily orchestrated too, man. It's so heavily orchestrated that position right there. It's not a gap that just naturally occurs. That's a gap that was put in place for gap's sake, for real.
Yeah, we kind of talked about it last Friday as far as like unintended outcomes of bills and kind of the nuances of bills and how things are put in place.
Yeah,
and I mean, it could have been intended. I don't know, but
that's what I'm saying. I feel like it is. I feel like it is. The way they be sneaking things in on the bill at the last minute and all the stuff is very heavily orchestrated. Ms. Erica Phil says many child care center employees that care for children receive SNAP along with other benefits. Yeah, there's a lot of people, man. A lot of folks that get SNAP benefits because of their situation, and these are people that you are working with. That's what's killing me. We trying to act like people sitting at home collecting SNAP. No, there's people out here working full-time jobs needing to get SNAP because
a lot of these services and benefits you have to be working, or at least applying for jobs actively, looking for employment to get these benefits. So the whole welfare queen, poster child, like that whole ideology is very, very far off. But there is a quote in here that I did want to kind of talk about and get your feedback on. Again, the CEO of Together Omaha, Mike Hornacek, says we need to be more innovative. He says we need to be more creative and we need to find some more sustainable long-term solutions. Talking about, again, families on SNAP and really them not at some point not needing SNAP. He says, but the people that we serve every day, they don't really want to hear about long-term sustainable solutions. He says they want to know how they're going to feed their family tonight, and they want to know how they're going to have a place to sleep. So that gets back to the realities that we're talking about. But I think Michelle said it as far as it's expensive to be poor. You can't really think about retirement. You can't really think about investment. You can't really think about the actual things that build wealth, like real generational wealth, because you're worried about tomorrow, tonight. You can't really think 10, 15 years, and you can't afford to put a nest egg aside to really grow. And I thought that was very telling about some of the situations that these.
Yeah. Mr. Erica Feld says people who work full time, including military personnel. Can you imagine being a military personnel still needing SNAP benefits and qualifying for it? That's crazy. Brother Knight in the chat, good morning. He says effect are always intentional. They don't have think tanks for nothing. They're sitting around thinking about some things, and this is what they're planning out. So Yeah, man. I feel like we talk about this paternalism and stuff all the time too, and they got to find incentives for people to buy into capitalism and this capitalist way of thinking about getting ahead, stepping on people to get ahead, doing whatever you need to do, making it so that you spend your whole life working. All the
Mm-hmm.
things that you know what I'm saying, like they make it so that if you're making it, you doing a whole bunch extra, running yourself sick, so then you can go have to pay for medical care and
Man,
stuff like
I
that.
don't want to gloss over what Brother Knight, just said though, as far as think tanks. And we
Mm,
talk about follow the money. We should follow the bill. Like I feel like that's an interesting case study to like look at a think tank and see, because I don't think people really are aware of or pay attention to how these think tanks really do. Like these think tanks are the kind of the behind the scenes of these bills. Like a lot of the bills, that's where the agenda is set.
mhm.
And,
Yeah,
and a lot of that's kind of done in plain sight. Like people like, oh, this organization is just a think tank full of all these billionaires and business people, but nobody really like, what are they thinking about? What are they coming up with? What kind of conclusions are they coming up with? um like a lot of people were talking about Bill Gates, and I don't want to get into the whole conspiracy theory thing, but as far as Bill Gates and he's a part of think tanks that dealt with COVID and,
mm,
and pandemics and some of those diseases and some of that medication. And then he's tied into the vaccinations that came out. That came from a think tank. Those types of things come from think tanks, and not just that, but actual bills are written from think tanks. So again, just didn't want to gloss over that as we look at bills. It might benefit to see where the bill came from.
there you go. Yeah, very interesting stuff. I appreciate everybody's in the chat that's talking about this subject here. That woman says yes. If you have children over 2 years old, you must work or attend 30 hours of employment search activities just to receive $408 a month. If you
Mm,
have one child, where welfare queens is a myth. What's also a myth is that people of color are the biggest recipients of any kind of benefits. It's
facts.
mostly poor white folks, and that, which is another reason why when I see poor white folks voting against what it is that they need, or having an attitude about things like that, or believing stuff like the black welfare queen and so on and so forth, it's ridiculous. Like white folks are suffering the most over the benefits. Here come the door creeping up, and check it out.
Yeah.
It's either a baby or it's a ghost in the new house.
No,
Which one?
it's little mama. You might as well just come on screen now. You might as well come say hi now.
Little mama creeped on in quiet too, didn't she? I love it. I love
I'm
it.
working, baby. I'm working.
Hey, while you bring little mama in, I wanted to give. Brianna Full says if you want to follow the bill, go look at the senators' NADC reports. Different types of organizations fund their campaigns and give them bill ideas. Woo!
I'm telling
Think
you,
tank.
that think tank
Yeah,
concept, and just talking about think tanks and looking at bills from the angle and perspective of them coming out of certain think tanks.
yeah,
That's not a small. It just gives you a fuller picture of what the bill is for. We're talking about, and I see Stacey Jean saying, "Hell yeah, it's a deliberate." So people
yeah.
are saying and feeling, that there are certain intentions and agendas behind some of these bills beyond what the senators are doing. But who's supporting these senators financially, and gives it a full picture of what the bill is really about.
There you go. Stacey Jean on Facebook, good morning, says, well, if you're worried about feeding your family, you don't have time to think about other things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's very, very intentional. So yeah, I appreciate that. Ghost Sisters 402 says large numbers of people expected to be kicked off Medicaid soon as well.
Mm.
I have been reading some of those articles too, man. We're going to keep everybody abreast of that, because really you're kind of you're surprising to even find out really like how many people are need aid, need assistance, and are on assistance, and it doesn't seem like it, because you see them working every day. You see them grinding. You see them doing what they trying to live their life and take care of their kids, but a lot of times they have to there's times we all have had to reach out for some assistance,
Oh
for
yeah.
real. Some really really need it. So we got to keep abreast of what's going on that, and that's also something, you think about people that are representing our community, which is like the senators, District 2,
Mm-hmm.
and them cats are up there fighting, and a lot of times they're fighting senators that their territory is out west somewhere, and they have no idea what the needs of the people are in other parts of the city, and you only have sometimes 2 or 3 or 4 people fighting for that in the legislature. So that's what I'm also learning about the legislature too. That's what it is. Brother Knight says, and poor whites are the shock troops of white supremacy. All they have is whiteness.
That's why it
It's,
was created. That's the purpose and the function of whiteness. That's why it was created. That's what
yeah.
whiteness is. That's why it was created to keep the poor whites from turning on the rich whites. So like, hey, we're white. We'll go get them.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just 1619 project. I was just watching some of that, and that was what they were just talking about that
Man,
they told there was this notion that if you're white, if you're poor and you're white, at least you're above a black person. So you have the ability to be in the same upper echelon that we do. That's the myth that they gave them, and and a lot of them ate it up. And we see that all the time. We see them voting against their own interests sometimes because of this race thing, and then have to suffer for it. It's kind of crazy. So it's really interesting when that part of the whole race thing really trips me out. Is
man,
the poor whites part. That is a trip. That is a real trip. That's the stuff that um, Baldwin used to say is the disease of white folks. Like this is the reason why he feels bad for them. This is the reason why they need some help.
yeah,
Because what kind of person do you have to be in order to believe some stuff like that? Believe that you're
and
better
not
than
get
these other human
benefits.
beings, right? And vote against yourself for that. It's really a trip. Kimber
Makes me
Snipes.
I was
Go
just
ahead.
thinking of the Dave Chappelle joke when he was like, he was in line voting for Trump. He was like, he felt bad for the poor whites in Ohio. I was like, that's not your president. It's mine. I'm rich. I'm the rich one.
Yeah, very true, man. Kimber Snipes gives us a good morning. That's what's up. Appreciate you coming on through. Wanda Lewis says, you heard Senator Wayne say that sometimes you have to pay for votes.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's we're understanding about this game. This is the reason why we and shout out to Julian Young and Julian Young Business Advisors. They're helping us get our whole business thing together. They got a really revolutionary program out there. If you got a small business, you
Tap
need to
in.
definitely tap
Tap in.
in, man. Julian Young and them cats. But they were explaining to us about we're the only ones talking about nuance of how to play the game in the legislature, and we get that information from the senators when they come on. But there's a lot of that kind of thing going on. You got to understand, like, if there's only a couple people fighting for our neighborhoods in the legislature, what does that exactly mean? We're learning every week that these brothers come on and talk about the fight and talk about how they make compromises for other senators that have to do with, if there's something that's going on in the other senator's territory that doesn't affect the black community, they might give them that vote because they need to buy that vote they need to say, hey, vote for something I'm going for my neighborhoods next because I did that for you in your neighborhood. So there's a lot of weighing of which stuff are they going for that's going to affect the black community or not. If they figure out that it's not really going to affect our community so much, then they'll go for it so that they can have that capital with those other legislators. So that's what we're learning about it, and we're trying to talk to everybody about that and get more information from the senators about it, and really try to help navigate some of that world. It's
Yeah.
just what it is.
Real transactional.
Yep. Want to jump back into, like Kimber Snipes said, chess, not checkers for sure.
Yeah.
Before I lose it, I got to go up here. Rick Fulton said his wife's birthday today. We're gonna see
Hey.
if we can give a shot. See where is it at? Where is it at? It's up a little further. He said, today is my wife's birthday. Can you say happy birthday to her? Her name is Mary. She might be watching on YouTube. Appreciate you, Mary, if you're
Nice.
watching on YouTube. If congratulations on your day. And I just know that your husband not what we call a chat chimer, and we value his words and his efforts and to enlighten and be part of this conversation. And so be proud and have a good day. This is
Yeah.
your born day. That's what's up. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. My brother Muhammad says the game is of poker. It's not even chess. It's not even chess. It's poker. Brother Knight says whites understand white supremacy. Black people have to lose the idea of helping them out of it. Interesting. Ceci Jean says you keep people apart. They don't have time to think about what they have in common. Tapping egos is powerful. I think
Divided.
about cats like Fred Hampton. You know what I'm saying? That put
Man.
together together
Rainbow
the
Coalition.
Rainbow Coalition. You know, he knew that's why he got assassinated. They assassinated him because he was doing too much work of bringing blacks, Latinos, and poor whites together to stand up against everything that there is to stand up against. And that when you start seeing that kind of unity, then they start acting like that's a Jesus figure, a Messiah
Oh
figure,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then they want to murder you. So
That's what they call it, actually. Same thing
yeah,
for Brother Martin. Same thing for Brother Martin. You know, the whole civil rights movement. It was cool when he was just trying to do things for the blacks, and but as soon as he started working on that poor people's movement, and it wasn't about race and it wasn't about civil rights, but it was about class, then it became all right. Yeah, he's a problem. He has to go.
big time, man.
Yeah.
Ghost Listeners 402, good morning. He's over on YouTube. Says nuanced voters and organizations show up deep daily to Lincoln. We do not.
Hmm.
And this is I'm glad you said that, because this is exactly why we're going the route that we are on this show. We have to show, and we got to figure out how to understand the nuance, so that we get just as fired up as everybody who is everybody else that's a nuanced voter and organizer. If we can get people to understand that nuance, and why it's important, it puts it in our heads and hearts to go show up, and everybody else too. So that's the reason why we got to talk about these things and have the senators on. Luckily they're willing to come through and explain some of these nuances. And we kind of feel like this whole show is just a learning experience. We're all trying to learn how to navigate this stuff. I've certainly learned so much in the past year, just navigating the unicamera, understanding what that is, and being able to be a part of it. So that's what's up.
Man.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to respond to something that the chat chambers I put out there, as far as looking into ALEC. Again, we had talked about doing the case study of these think tanks, and I just looked into ALEC. I actually wasn't too familiar with what it was. Apparently it's the American Legislative Exchange Council, and it's apparently a think tank that offers policy solutions. That's their language on the website. This is interesting. Thank y'all. We're gonna look into this a little more. Yeah, I might
Well,
have somebody in the show, so we'll see.
that's what's up. Appreciate that. Thanks for everybody. Kimber Snipe says, definitely wishing there were more of us up on Wednesday. Yeah, we trying to make it happen. Also, shout out to Brother Muhammad. I'm hearing that it's 29 years. Miss Wanda Lewis is giving him a happy anniversary to you and your wife, Brother Melvin Muhammad.
Nice.
So happy anniversary, man. Really appreciate you coming on through and spending that time with us on your special day as well. 29 years. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, that's very special. So shout out to Brother Muhammad and his wife for 29 years of marriage. That's what's going on, man. Family, man. That's what's happening. Appreciate it. We'll take a quick break and come right back, man. We got a special guest hanging in the wings, so stay tuned. We got the brother senators, Terrell Mckinney. Terrell Mckinney is on right now, so we'll have him jump in as soon as we come back from this break, and then we'll jump into it real quick and get going on this conversation. Get your questions ready, and we'll be right back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul Beeee, Buddi3 Da Gawd. Happy Daylight Day. It's going down.
Hey.
Hashtag Daylight Day. Get your De La Soul on today, y'all. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the DS.
Paul Beeee, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you chat chimers, man, ghost listeners, And ladies and gentlemen, also we have in the wings waiting for us. We're gonna bring them on right now, ladies and gentlemen, brothers senators Terrell McKinney and Justin Wayne in the house. Good morning to y'all. How y'all doing this morning, man?
I'm doing good.
Good. How you doing?
Good. Justin, you look way more rested than I saw you the other day at that meeting.
Yeah, man.
Oh, man,
yeah. Hair looking slick back, looking skin looking clear.
Hey, I saw the news, and I was sitting there. I was like, I gotta go get a haircut. Man,
okay. Yeah, man. I'm settled. I got to take a tip.
What's going on with you, brother McKinney? You cameraless today, huh?
So
he probably doing the real thing and driving down there.
Driving.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I figure drive safely.
Okay, so
make sure you push my green button when you get down there, so they think I checked in on time.
Yeah, so what, like you said, one of y'all got to show up on time, one of y'all can be late. Yeah, I love it. Appreciate you coming on through, man. Drive safe, by the way, bro. We don't want don't die on first Sky Omaha, please. You know, drive safe, brother. Wanted to hear from you guys, man, especially about this about the town hall that just happened, man.
Yeah.
Because of course it seemed like it was very spur of the moment, first of all. But it also was like one of the most organized things I've seen in a while too, and kind of really happy with the turnout and how everybody showed up, felt very unified for the first time in a little minute, according to me, for somebody sitting in the audience. So I wanted to hear from you guys what you thought about the town hall that just happened over at the Highlander building. Brother McKinney, you want to go first on that?
I thought it was good. I thought the turnout was good. I think the conversation was good. So it was like before that I kind of really satisfied everybody, but as long as we're trying to do the right thing, and that's what we try to do, is listen to people and try to community have. We're trying to address those concerns through like that. I thought honestly, I mean, the questions were good. Jumped off the ledge, Jonas.
Mm-hmm.
I expected it, but
we missing a lot of what you're saying, man. You're kind of cutting in and out real quick. I don't want you to. Yeah. I don't want you to get in the accident, but would you mind going back out and coming back in? That usually helps with the reception a little bit on that.
Or maybe try calling in since he's not
Oh yeah,
gonna be on camera.
Yeah, call in.
Yeah, you can do that too, man. Call in. I don't know if you got my phone number, but I'll text you that real quick.
So I mean, we talked about it, and I think we talked about it afterwards, and it was a good turnout. Actually, we left there and went and debriefed down at had a little dinner and debriefed on kind of what everybody was saying. And I think getting an amendment back as fast as people would like might be kind of the problem because just bill drafting and working out the logistics. But we got time, so that's what people need to understand. We got a little bit of time to get some of their concerns addressed. We have a couple of their concerns addressed in an amendment that I saw Senator McKinney do. But as far as everything, it's just hard to, like I was trying to explain in the meeting, it's just hard to write legislation and think through all the problems that a governor or somebody else could decide to manipulate the process. Really got to think through it all. And so that's kind of what we debriefed on. And what happened?
I was saying again. I apologize. I was just saying trying to put yourself in their mind state, which I can imagine is a challenge. Like you don't know how anybody's going to think at the end of the day, but you have to try to anticipate it.
Right. So you like, what does this word mean? And could it be vague and they can put it to somebody else, or could they take care of one of their friends? And so you got to look line by line and word by word, and people got to understand that qualified census tracts that's damn near all of East Omaha, and there's like 4 or 5 qualified census tracts in West Omaha. So like where that first data in the Walmart is on Irvington, that's a qualified census tract. So you know, you try to narrow it down, but then you try to think of what else could they do to manipulate it to take care of their friends. And so that's the going back and forth and why it takes so long.
The nuance.
Yeah, I gotta find a new word. Somebody told me that was my favorite word this year was nuance, and so I gotta figure out a new word.
That's my favorite word this year too, though, because that's what we're missing. Somebody in the chat just earlier said that, like, it's the nuanced voters that show up. It's the people that understand the game a little bit that shows up and supports. So that's the thing. We got the big swaths of kind of what's going on usually, but we don't have that nuance, and that's the benefit of you guys coming through is to explain this nuance. So we're gonna have to hold on to that word just a little bit longer because this is what we kind of need for our own understanding about what's going on. Since we're not sitting there every day like y'all, you know what I'm saying? Brother Mckinney, now that we got you on the phone here, maybe you can give us a little bit. You were saying that you liked the questions and stuff that was asked, but what did you think of the town hall that just passed?
I thought it was good. Honestly, it probably was one of the best meetings in North Omaha I've been to. Because usually when North Omaha gets in a meeting, somebody ends up storming out, people screaming at each other. It's out of control eventually, and that didn't happen. So I think, North Omaha as a whole showed that we could get together and have, a tough conversation, but not have it go off the rails and leave, with a sense of unity and togetherness as a community.
Yeah, I felt the same way, man. Like I said, I was sitting in the audience there, and I felt that this is the first. I hadn't been to any of the meetings where anybody stormed out. I didn't see all that before, but I did see people standing up being passionate. But I also saw a whole lot more people understanding things, how the process is, and applauding you guys for doing what you've been doing, fighting the fight. Which I thought was very different. And the whole conversation that I've had since then with members of the community since that day has been real positive and real unifying as well. So, I was happy to see that, man. And I took some photos. I didn't get a chance to upload them today, but I'll upload them to Friends of First Sky Omaha. But you should see how the whole place is packed. The young and old. I mean, every diverse group you can think of was in there, man, representing the Black community, and it was just really a good thing to see. Kimra says she took extensive notes. We'll have to definitely talk to her on Wednesday about what she thought about that. She said she took stellar notes. I heard that. Mary Ann Williams says, Senator Wayne and McKinney, just want to say I'm so proud of you guys. I do not agree with the gun bill, but I get it. Hang in there.
So let me just comment on it. So there was a group of architects and engineers who are chasing some work for the city of Omaha, chasing some work for a whole bunch of ideas going on right now about different developments in Omaha. And they flew in a couple of days and they were here and they heard about this town hall and they came down there, and afterwards they were just kind of floored. They called Senator McKinney and I. It was just like, we haven't seen this kind of movement since Atlanta.
Wow.
Where people actually came together. There's some dollars on the table, and they weren't even thinking about even trying to be a part of this, right? They were just like, we were here for something else. And two of the guys are African Americans, so they was like, let's see what North Omaha is about. I ain't from here, don't know anything about it. And they stopped us afterwards, like, can we get a phone call? So we talked to them, and they was like, man, this is crazy. We want to figure out how to be a part of it. So I just say, here go the people who kind of organize some things and have at it. But they genuinely surprised and shocked that people were coming together. There was a central theme around economic development, not just social justice. And we trying to get people some dollars to make a difference and create jobs. And they just haven't. And one of them is old enough to say that. Like, I was around Atlanta when this was going on. This is how it happens. Like, we got, y'all got to stay focused. And so it was pretty cool just getting some outside perspective on that too.
That's really
so they're from Atlanta.
He's in somewhere right outside Atlanta. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, it's a lot of suburbs and areas around he's the general metro Atlanta area they're from.
Correct.
Which is interesting. It's just interesting. Man, how that happens. Like, we've been talking about this Atlanta Omaha connection now for a couple years since I've been down here, and just the way that it's happening organically and naturally, and the fact that I'm down here right now in Atlanta trying to make conversations and connections and continue what we're doing and maybe connected to Omaha or connected to Atlanta. So to see that they're seeing that, and the as far as the development and saying it's getting there is very, very important.
Yeah, that's huge, man.
Yeah.
Rick Fulton in the chat. Oh, I think I lost Brother McKinney. Rick Fulton in the chat says our let's see, where was he at? Oh, okay. Look, check him out, bro. Just pass it right on that. That's what's up. Welcome back, brother.
Oh yeah.
Man,
How fast was
that
you going?
that office looked great, man. That office looked great. I used to have that same office. He done hung up pictures and everything. He got comfortable.
That's what's up, man. Appreciate you coming on through, man. Rick, I was just jumping in the chat real quick. When are we going to find out? What are we going to find out at the hearings for LB 531 and LB 785? Is this question? Are there any details yet?
I would say you will find out about the process and what's it going to look like going forward. I mean, people, keep asking for definitive answers, and I'm just saying, like, show up to the hearing. We'll tell you what's happening. We're trying to address those issues, and the process is the process. It's not going to happen overnight. We still have to go through hearings, got to get it voted out of committee, have to get it on the floor in 3 rounds of debate, and hope nothing crazy happens on the floor. It's been a crazy session. We can't give a bunch of guarantees. We just trying to do the best that we can to try to make sure it stays in our community.
Yeah. That's one thing I picked up from that meeting as well, too, man. It's just reinforced that this money is not guaranteed. If we can't figure out how to do what we need to do here, it can be taken by other senators to do other pet projects and things that don't have nothing to do with our community, for sure. So, and there's a deadline now too. Can we talk about that a little bit? There's a deadline on all of this.
So there's two things. Is one of the things I think that was powerful was at the meeting was the slides where they talked about other funding streams. And the reason why that's important is because some of the things that people want in this amendment and some of the things that people want, they may not see it in the second version of 1024, the 531 bill, but they got to understand that we might be working in a different way. Like if there's a small business grant, I don't know if the best place to have a small business grant lies within DED, like because DED sees the whole that you competing with everybody downtown, et cetera, et cetera. So maybe the better way is to go through Senator McKinney's iHub bill, and we put more money in there where it's a local entity that's maybe from North Omaha who becomes the iHub, and they funnel out the money to small businesses. So those are the nuances we're still trying to figure out. I got to figure out different word nuances. But,
it's the word.
Hey, those are the things that we got to figure out, because if you put it in DED, you got to understand DED oversees the entire state, and DED got both North and South Omaha and downtown offices. So now you might be competing with people from the AIM building, and I ain't got no issue with people in the AIM building downtown, but I'm just saying that wasn't the point of the money to necessarily go to downtown folks. It was in North and South Omaha. So while we fighting guns and abortion and transgender issues, and we still doing criminal justice reform. Terrell and I are meeting at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night with other senators trying to figure out, how do we move different packages forward to get to accomplish the same thing.
Yeah.
I mean, what time did you leave Lincoln last night, Terrell? I left at like 8 o'clock. You probably didn't leave. You might 9:30, 10. I mean, that's just the way it goes.
Yeah, it was late.
Yeah.
Putting in the work.
Ocean's Wave TV. I don't know who Ocean's Wave TV. I got to find out what's going on there. It says salute, good people. Appreciate that very much. Also, the Hood Table's in today.
Hey.
Say good morning, everyone. Good morning to you as well. Appreciate that. Brother Jonathan Benjamin Alvarado, live from Texas, is giving you some more words besides nuance. He said undertones, substance. So a couple other ones to choose from. I'm gonna stick with nuance for a minute, man. I'm gonna stick with nuance. It says a lot.
I do want to say we did have a successful week this week. LB 20, which is felon voting rights, got kicked out yesterday.
Whoa. Okay.
And so, I've been on the fence about this amendment on this gun bill, LB 77. I've said it multiple times. I like the underlining bill. I don't like the amendment. But yesterday, Senator Brewer fell a little sick yesterday. He left the floor, and I was just like, hey, man, I got you. I ain't for the amendment right now, but I helped the argument keep it moving on. So Terrell and I both got in the queue and we're helping. Not necessarily with the amendment, because I got some issue with the amendment, and that's what Ms. Williams was talking about. She's not in favor of this gun bill. It's one of them bills that we struggle with. And so I pretty much said that on the mic, and so did Senator McKinney. Like, we're leaning one way, but I want to make sure this conversation doesn't go sideways, because I want to take care of this. Is Brewer's priority bill. He's been trying to get it done. Let's just make sure he gets a fair shot. Like, whether we voted up or down, let's make sure he gets a fair shot. Man, he execed on 1020 LB 20 that night, and he voted for it and kicked it out of committee. And that's what I'm talking about, the relationships. You may not necessarily agree with a bill, but let's make sure the process is free. Let's make sure that you have a clean debate. Don't have people start just going sideways, talking about nothing beside, what's really going on with the bill. And let's stay factual to the bill. So, like, what people are saying, like, this bill is going to increase the proliferation of guns. This bill doesn't change how you buy a gun. It doesn't have anything to do with it. You still got to go register. You still got to get a background check. You still got to get a handgun permit. Like, it doesn't change. But people, when they hear guns, want to exaggerate. And so I was like, look, I'll factual what the bill is. I don't support the amendment, but this is where we are. And so every time Senator McKinney and I got up, it was like, we lean in one way, but none of this it's a hard bill for us, blah, blah, blah. But Brewer was so thankful. He was like, man, we're going to exec on that bill today. Like, let's just get it out there for you, Justin. And that's nice. That's how you get things done. You don't have to sell your soul. You don't have to change your position. You gotta be respectful and get to know people.
Man. But kind of real quickly, also, what I'm hearing on the flip side, that can also turn into certain senators blocking certain bills if the relationship isn't there as well. Is there a flip side to that?
Yeah. So my first year, there was a Republican senator who had pissed off everybody on the floor, and he pissed off everybody because he was doing some things in his committee that it was weird. And he had a priority bill that came out, and Senator Chambers got up and was like, I'm gonna file a motion to recommit or some motion to bracket, some way to kill the bill. And he was like, I don't even got to talk. Let's just take a vote. Man, that bill died in the first 5 minutes. Like, he opened for 10, that bill died within 5 minutes after his opening. And it wasn't because Senator Chambers had all these votes. Senator Chambers read the room and was like, they voting against this bill because they don't like this dude. And it died. And I'm not saying that's a good way of making policy. I'm just saying that's a reality. There's some bills on the floor that are in committee that we could get out and probably move this year. But because of the introducer, I think we probably automatically lost 6-7 votes.
Wow. Their relationship stuff. Oh man, we got more in the house right now. Movement in Omaha for racial equity. There's a question there. Is there any focus on evaluating the outcomes and making sure the lowest income families are transformed or getting some state support? Is there any focus on evaluating the outcomes and making sure the lowest income families are transformed or getting some state support? Not quite understanding that question too much. You guys pulling anything from that?
Go ahead.
I would say that, we're trying to ensure that whoever get any resources from 1024 or 531, however you want to call it, that, the community is taken care of, and making sure that those resources, recycle through the community and don't just come in and go out. So that's our focus. That's been our focus from day one, to make sure our community is taken care of, and that hasn't happened in my lifetime, and that's what we've been trying to do, and that's the things we always talk about. Me and Justin, at the beginning, it was like, how can we make sure North Omaha isn't left behind? That was the whole reason for coming together and putting together 1024, was to make sure the community isn't forgotten about, because for so long North Omaha has been neglected.
And not just 1024, but Senator McKinney, is that kind of also your ideology, or the reason for your racial impact statements bill? Like, not for that to be applied to every bill.
Yeah, and I mean, it's the reason, honestly, for almost every bill I've introduced since I've been down here, is to transform the community, to make sure those that have been left behind are taken care of. regardless of you're in poverty, you in prison, you need a better education, whatever. That's been what I've always stood on, and that's what I ran on, is to make sure, North Omaha is taken care of.
Man,
So
definitely.
I'll give you one example of why racial impact bills are so important. So, and again, I don't want to keep hitting this gun bill, but this is a prime example. In the testimony last year, a police officer said they use the city ordinance to bump up kids, which means stack charges or find reasons to put charges on people. So if you're in Omaha and we all riding around, and I have a gun, and it's in the console, and we all riding around, and y'all three don't even know about it. We get pulled over. We all get charged with a carry conceal, like violation of carry conceal. That's how it happens in Omaha. We all get charged, and then we got to figure out, who knew, who gonna take the rap, but that police officer said, yes, we use it to bump up people. We use it to stack charges. And then this year, Chief Schmatter said, we use city ordinance. I mean, if this bill were to pass, it would get rid of these city ordinances, and it would close the racial disparity in arrests. So me and Senator Mckinney hear that, or Senator McKinney, I hear that. But when we making this argument on the floor, saying why are we struggling with this bill, we understand the gun violence, but we also have police chief and officers saying it's true. If this goes away, it's going to be less charges on Black and brown kids. But if we had a racial impact and we could see the actual numbers, and our office went and called the city and said, how many people are being charged? And they had to give that information to us. Now we're talking about, is it 100 Black kids and brown kids, or is it 1,000? Is it 2,000 that now are getting these charges put on them just because they ride in a car and we try to, and then that changes how we can navigate. Because maybe I would be against the bill if I could figure out the solution to solving this issue. But I don't know what the real issue is, because we don't, when it comes to racial impact, because we don't have a detailed analysis on what that looks like.
Right.
Okay.
Interesting.
Man, it definitely clears up some things.
What's top of your mind, buddy, on what that's clearing up for you?
Just as far as like finding solutions and being solutions based, and sometimes a solution in front of you, might not be the ideal solution, but is it a solution? And again, just
even even on top of this conversation, the LB77, and I said it yesterday, I was like, if I introduced a straight bill to get rid of those city ordinances, I more than likely couldn't get it passed. But if I could eliminate those in this bill, I'm gonna try to do it because of the impact that it could have on our community. A senator stood up yesterday and said she mentioned Black kids and cared about Black kids being shot and in poverty, but it's the same person that introduced a bill to limit the amount of money they can make. So if y'all know, growing up in the hood, if you can't make money and you're trying to survive, where you gonna go?
Yeah.
And just to give you a little clarity, what her bill does is it says if you're a teenager, right? You're in the committee, Terrell, says if you're a teenager, you don't have to make minimum wage. That it's a teenager type pay.
Right.
So
under minimum wage,
raise their minimum wage. We're like, yeah, we raised it, but for y'all kids, we don't want to give y'all minimum wage. And so it contradicts what people are saying. And that's kind of the point. If we had a detailed analysis, and it's not just this gun, there's tons of bills. So like we had a DNA bill. There's every bill that comes through. If we could have a real analysis on the impact of our community, not just the finances, but how it affects our community, then we can look at more detailed solutions. But now we just get these one-off comments by either chief of police or police. And now we on the floor trying to figure out what does that look like? What does that mean? Because we don't have real data to support one way or another.
Yeah. Man.
Nuance,
I do want to switch. Yeah, nuance. That's why I said that clears some things up, and thank you for kind of breaking down that gun bill. But that kind of gets people thinking, like, okay, if you don't support this gun bill, if you kind of feel a certain way about the senator supporting the gun bill, then maybe try to maybe put together a think tank and come up with some solutions. It seems like you guys are just looking for the solutions, and whatever's out there, you're going to try to make best of what you got. So that's kind of what cleared things up, was clearer for me, I would say. But I do want to switch gears a little bit and ask Senator McKinney about LB 631. which is we have a write up here from our partners at Nebraska Examiner, and this is a conversation that we had here on the show, talking about youth, talking about criminal reform, keeping people out of jails, keeping people on the streets and getting people back on the streets. LB 631 deals with a parole board and board members showing up to the hearings. Can you speak more towards that?
LB 631 would make some changes to the parole board. It would add a formerly incarcerated individual. It would add somebody with experience in restorative justice and reentry. It would say that board members can't miss more than 3 meetings per year. It will require them to take cultural competency and implicit bias training and establish a code of conduct and things like that.
Oh, you on the front page of the Examiner. I didn't even see that. Okay.
Yeah. Examiner getting down these days, man. I pulled it up. I was like, okay. Examiner must be listening to this show. Nah, I'm just playing.
Shout out.
But shout out to them. They doing work.
Yeah, man. But hopefully, that will, talking about outcomes and solutions. Hopefully, this can aid in getting an Ernest Jackson home, getting an Ed Poindexter home, because we talked extensively about their sagas with going to the parole board and not really getting their fair shake in the parole board.
There was a board member showed up. I think his last name is Twist or something, and his testimony just highlighted why the bill is needed. Like, if you could go back and listen to the testimony from the board member, it makes the whole bill make sense. Like, literally.
Talking about Bob Twist of Gretna.
Yeah. It was funny because Paul Hamill texted me last night afterwards and was like, so are we really going to try to get something done with parole board? I was like, after that hearing, we definitely doing something. Like, we're going to figure out something.
Hey, buddy, who was the Flatwater Free Press journalist that wrote about oh no, was that Flatwater reader?
It was Flatwater. It's funny you said that, because literally I'm reading the sentence in the article. It says Twist pushed back on reporting by Flatwater, saying basically he says we are showing up contrary to what the media is showing.
Okay.
But yes, the article, I believe that was Yankee Shoe.
Oh, so Yankee, yeah, man. We discussed that. I remember discussing that several days about that parole board situation after she came on the show and talked about what was going on, what was not going on. It kind of opened our eyes a lot. And then right after that, we were hearing that Brother Mckinney is pushing on this bill. So we'll do a little refresher on that for sure, since that was in the news. Before we get too far away, though, I want to jump into another bill, 785. Rick Fulton in the chat is saying he wants to come and support. But he wants to know what he's arguing for or against. Can you give us a little rundown from your perspective of what 785 is about? Is that one of you?
785 deals with like the money part. Will be 531.
Oh, right. Okay.
The plan. So that's what that's for. It's an appropriations.
Mr. Fulton, 531 and 785 will pretty much have the same language there once I think once Mckinney gets this bill worked out, because we're running two different races. It's the same race. We're running two different strategies. So last year, what made 1024 successful, people don't even know what 1025 was. 1025 was the appropriation bill. Well, appropriations decided not to put the money requested in the budget. So we had the committee bill. So we got two different committees and two different paths. And so when 1024 got to the floor, we put the whole appropriations and all the money together on the floor. And so the same strategy Senator McKinney's using, saying we're going to go through one committee and then we're going to go through the appropriations committee. If the appropriations committee says no, then at least we'll have another option on the floor to put something together.
Okay. That's smart. Okay. Now that clears. Yeah. Yeah. Nuanced, if you will.
Well, let me explain why that's important to the people, though. So Senator McKinney runs urban affairs, and that's where 531 is. Robert Clements, a real conservative guy, he sits next to me. He's a good guy, but he runs appropriations, and those committees are made up of different people. Urban affairs is made up for mainly people from Omaha, with two senators not from Omaha. I think, because I might be right. You got Lowe and Hardin. All right.
Yep.
Yeah, so the majority of people from Omaha kind of understand what's going on in Omaha. So that's why it's good to have a bill there because they can vote it out and get it on the floor. Whereas appropriations, you got 2 Omaha senators, 1 Lincoln senator, and the rest is from everywhere else. So it's harder to get that money put in a package in appropriations. So you run it parallel just to see what's best. And we do that with a
Okay.
lot of bills too. So you'll have like there'll be a criminal justice bill in appropriations, but then my committee at judiciary has one too. So that way we can kind of run them both.
Where
So
do you guys go ahead?
It's we're walking through this conversation, and we've been talking most of the season about the bills and the bills being introduced on the floor and what the people can do as far as giving comment. But now you're leaning on and talking about the next step, which is once the comments are made and it goes into the committees. I'm kind of curious what governs the committees. Like, how is it selected what senators go on what committees, and like how is that made up?
So it starts off in November, each caucus. So CD2, so congressional districts. So you just use congressional districts. So CD2, which is in the Douglas County and part of Sarpy County, we all get together in December and we select what committees we want to be on. And then we select 2 people to be on what we call committee on committees. Then they meet the first 2 days of session and so each district gets 2 people on that committee, and they all sit around and basically divide up the committees. What happened this year is a lot of people got on the committees they wanted, and some of them didn't because, like, an education senator Mckinney was on there, and he came to urban affairs, so he couldn't be on education no more because they meet on the same days. But I felt it was important to be on education because they need to have a minority voice and somebody from East Omaha because education is so important. So I moved to education. So there's a lot of factors, but it's a lot of politics and a lot of inside baseball. But that's how the committee members are set. But how it's ran, honestly, as chairs, we have a lot of leeway, and that's why over the summer, my whole thing is we got to do a better job. When I say we, people in the legislature, passing the baton. And so nobody wanted judiciary because judiciary stays late and it's a lot of work. And so I cut a deal and I said, the only way I'll go to judiciary chair is if Mckinney goes to urban affairs chair. So you guys the Republicans got to help me get him on there because 1024 and a whole bunch of other stuff, but we got to pass the baton. And when I say nobody wanted judiciary, nobody literally wanted judiciary. Like it's one of the hardest ones. You hear late at night, you're dealing with controversial issues. We didn't get out of our hearing last night till 7:15. We've been there till 9 o'clock. Today's a Friday. We'll probably be there till 7 o'clock. That means an hour drive back. So we ain't doing nothing tonight when we get done. But that's kind of how it works. And it was either that or they were going to put a Republican freshman in. So we rallied the folks to say, all right, let's go with Mckinney. And so, McKinney still got to stand on his own 2 feet, got to persuade people to get it done. And that's how committee chairs are picked. The reason why they're picked, though, and the reason why they're so important is because you can run your committee the way you want. So what that means is if there's a bill out there that you need to work on, you're going to schedule it for a later hearing so you can work on it. If there's a bill out there you don't want to get on the floor, you schedule it for a later hearing and you schedule it past the priority date. So that senator can't prioritize it because he or she doesn't know if it even is going to get out of committee. So the scheduling of a committee chair gives that chair a lot of power.
Interesting, man. Thank you for breaking that down. Because that's important. And kind of what I'm hearing is, and it's just real quick. And Paul, I'll let you go. So I think you got something, but it's interesting that in a time when Nebraska has the second highest overcrowding prison population in the country, and there needs to be some kind of legislation or something to address prison population in the state of Nebraska, and nobody was really wanting to touch the judiciary.
Well, it's the reason why judiciary is so controversial, and I'll be real short, Paul. The reason why it's so controversial is the fear of the one, right? You got you pass criminal justice reform, and that one person gets out and kills somebody. That one gets out and molests a kid. That one person gets out and robs somebody. Then they all look at you and say, it's your fault. You passed him out or her out early. And so nobody wants to be on judiciary or even be there, because you deal with those issues. You deal with the controversial issues that you got to vote on, and that's what people don't. I mean, they just don't. Judiciary is very rarely number one for anybody on a list, except for Senator McKinney. I was on judiciary 2 years ago. Senator DeBoer, like they have a knack that they want to be on there and solve these issues. But for the most part, you get drafted to be on there.
Man, well, I appreciate you for stepping up and you know, being the chair.
It's interesting to me. I'm thinking about the situation a few years back with Nico Jenkins, and how particularly in Omaha and in Nebraska, we had this situation that was very heavily media covered about a brother that was in jail, got let out, and committed some crimes. And so when you talk about like people sitting in the chair, scared of that, you know, scared of the one, like you're saying, like that, like I can see that really being the case for legislators in Nebraska, just because of such a high profile situation that happened. So yeah, again, we appreciate
it's a two-sided conversation though, because when we were working on the task force to do criminal justice reform last year, I told the governor, Don Klein, and Chief Schmatter and all them, I was like, the same way y'all fear Nico Jenkins is how we feel about Derek Chauvin. And I don't want us to judge y'all with that brush. Don't judge us with that brush.
Right. Yeah.
And it's just true. And the other thing with judiciary or getting criminal justice reform, honestly speaking, people show up for voter ID and fill that room, but they don't fill the judiciary room when it comes to criminal-related bills and parole bills. They show up for bills that deal with money. They don't show up for bills to try to get people out of prison, but they want us to do it and fight. But who's standing with us? People show up. I ain't gonna say people don't, but it's not the same. The energy is not the same. Honestly speaking, it's more cops and county attorneys, attorney generals, and whatever else in the room than it is people that say they care about criminal justice reform when they was protesting in 2020.
Wow. And I'll go a step farther and say that applies to education too. So like we come deep when it's, you know, the suspension bill. I give credit that, or the physical intervention. But when it comes to funding and those kind of things, they don't show up. When it comes to changing some things, we don't show up. And part of it, like I said at the hearing, at the meeting, I gotta figure out this way of communicating and getting some Black media and some Black collaboration to push things out better, because it's just two of us and we're swamped. We got to figure that piece out. But part of it is the party and the community organizers. It's not what they get. I don't want to say get paid for. It's not what they are known for in these other areas. You know, nobody wants to talk about education because it's complicated. Nobody wants to talk about prison reform because it's complicated. Like, you know, we got a lot of people who can't go out and play at Fontenelle Park anymore playing basketball because their mom and dad say they scared of violence. But at the same time, we got to figure out how to get people out, right? We got to figure out how to not have and make sure they come out successfully, that they got jobs, that they're doing well. And that's a hard conversation. And man, and it's not sexy like everything else.
Yeah. I can see that. I think about that too, just in my own understanding about what we talk about and what we're looking at now. I think about that a lot. I think like what I need more clarity on is the importance of what's going on with criminal justice. Was how can we stop some of these jails happening and so on. Just in my own personal thinking about it, I understand the voting thing is super clear to me for whatever reason. How it got communicated, super clear. Why? You know, there's like history attached to it and all this other stuff. But some of these other things, like what you're mentioning right now, I'm still constantly like going through a learning process about understanding why it's important. And like I said, I'm sticking to this thing. I think Brother Fulton said it earlier. I think it was the one who said it in the chat. He said it's the nuanced voters that are showing up. I think
that was Ghost Listener.
Was it Ghost Listener? The nuanced voters that are showing up here because they understand. They're understanding the nuances of this thing and figuring out which parts are important, where the mainstream communication is not telling you it's important. You're figuring it out on our own, and those are the ones that are going up and showing up. So I want to get back to that part of like really kind of using this show especially to break down some of these things, to understand it myself, to pass on that understanding so that we can show up in those areas. Because I don't think it's, you know, it might be a little fear that they don't want to show up there and, you know, face off on some of these sheriffs and stuff that are up here talking about certain issues. But It's also not it's also, like you said, the communication piece that I hopefully we can help with, trying to get people to understand something and put some importance on it, so it puts it in your mind and heart to go up and support and everything else. So I think some of the easier things are the reasons why they go. These are not, like you said, these are complicated issues, and that steers people off. But we ain't scared of that. So we gonna try to figure out how to get the word out, get the communication up, a clearer understanding for everybody, including ourselves, so that we can try to help more on those issues, because everybody does really care about them. We talk about it all the time on this show. They care about these things extensively. Got family members in prison. Got got kids in school. All these things that are happening. They care about them. We just have to marry that to how it is that we're going to try to get how to support, basically.
So one of the things that Senator McKinney and I have been talking about this is because I'll give you guys full. When y'all was mad at us and calling us dumb and idiots for not getting y'all some money, you know what I'm saying? Y'all was you know what I'm saying? But out of that conversation, hey, but this is why we got to have conversations, because out of that conversation, y'all were the first one to say we need a black kind of collaborative media, black media, and that we can put together. And we took that to heart. And so we, like, part of it is I'm even thinking, how do we, whether it's through an iHub, whether it's through some black media collaborative, like, we need to sign somebody for 6 months out their year, an intern or somebody, go through certain bills and put a summary out. We need a five sentence summary that we can put out and say, here's the sections that do this, here are the sections that do that. Now we get this internally, so Senator McKinney and I both have legal counsels down here for our committees because we're chairs. And so they put a memo together that breaks down every section of the bill. And I'm like, but they don't get us that until like 2 or 3 days before the hearing. But I'm thinking, how do we get that done in the community 2 weeks in advance? Because typically the bill don't change. And then we can start putting people together. But that's a paid position. That's another, how do we get that done?
Actually,
so like we've been, go ahead.
Well, I got an innovation on that idea, because I just actually heard about something that's dealing with AI. I mean, I'm all for getting people paid. I'm all for getting people jobs, but there's an AI program called ChatGPT that's new. I just heard about it being used.
Hey, wait a minute, man! You trying to give our jobs away? Wait, hold on.
He's trying to go Walmart on us.
Look, Brother Wayne trying to tell us how we can help and get paid. You already thrown it to AI. Hold up.
No, we can still spread the message, but I'm saying what I'm saying is AI goes through, it's being used for music contracts, and it breaks down the nuances, and it's kind of the legalese in some of these contracts for a layman. So I'm saying we could use this
to help,
put some of the bills, apply it to the bills, and then spread that information out through our channels. But again, just the idea of simplifying those things, it just made me think about, again, using AI.
We on the same page too, man, because we've had this conversation all week long, for the last 2 weeks, really, about how it is that we could do that, video pieces and things we can put together to really kind of show what's going on with each bill. Also putting in our budget that we would have somebody that would go through all 800 bills and pull which ones, and so we've been having this conversation, and then right now we're going through an advisory session with Julian Young Advisory, and he's and I just talked to him yesterday about this too. He's saying that what we're doing here is groundbreaking. He said he's been watching and been keeping his eye on this stuff. He's like having the senators on, breaking this stuff down, breaking down the nuance. He kept using that word nuance too. Like breaking down the nuance here about what's going on and how you understand what the game is and how you understand how you can support that is groundbreaking. Ain't nobody else doing that. And so we want to take that momentum and help even more and even further. So we're on the same page about trying to find somebody to take these bills, put them in a package that can be understood better and be able to get those through the channels. So I love the fact that you're saying that too. We can figure out how to collab on that. It's 8:34 right now. I know that Justin Wayne got to get on the road because he's late.
I was just checking Speaker Arch and texting him saying when's closure, because I got to make sure I'm down here for the closure vote. So I'm hoping it's at least 10. I mean, but on a serious note, before y'all go, here's what I need from y'all, because I got two pathways that we can do this black media, and I'm probably going to keep it completely out of the 1024 conversation, just because it's so much conversation going around it. And I said this to you at the meeting, Paul. The question is, who is going to apply?
Right.
Who can we give the money to? Who? Yeah. And as much as I love y'all, we can't do $2 or $3 million just to y'all two. We're gonna sell this to the broader legislature. We got to talk about how we can impact media and collaboration across the way in East Omaha. So there may have to be a South Omaha component. I'm not sold on that right now, but if we could figure out how to bring some people together, and I recognize that all of us work together, but I'm just like, we got to come out with a detailed plan that I could talk about intelligently on the floor about why it's important. And I think it even goes to gun violence. I think it even goes to everything. If people are aware of what's going on in our schools, what's going on in the legislature, and what's going on at the national level on a political scene, I think we can engage more people. And as a result, I think what Precious said at the meeting, people going to turn out and vote more. So we got to figure out how to do that. So I'm putting that burden on y'all too, because we got too much on us right now.
Yeah. We taking it. That's another reason why we in there with the planning sessions with our financial advisor and stuff too. We're really putting this plan together. We heard that call, and we've been putting some things down on paper so we can really try to do that, and reaching out to some folks, man. I just had a conversation with Leo Lewis yesterday, and if you know the history between us and them, we left Mind and Soul to be first Sky Omaha, but me and Leo hooked right up on that. We were like, that meeting was epic. I haven't felt the unity in this community for a long time. Fully understand what the brothers are doing, fully understand where we're at. We're ready. You guys is ready. Let's try to figure some things out. So even on that tip, man, there's a lot of good talk going around right now about people unifying up. I was very surprised at what Bill King was talking about. So we're back on that. We're creating a one sheet on this weekend. Me and Buddy already decided to do that. And we'll have something for you by next week, some proposal about how it is that we can pull some of these things together and make some of this stuff happen. So appreciate you guys.
I'm going to end with this real quick. I'm going to end with this because, one thing we haven't even talked about is Google coming into town, right? So Google Fiber is coming in. And so we, outside of the legislature, there's opportunities with Google Fiber and everybody to say, how do we build out this network? And I just want to leave it with that.
I'm with that. Love that idea, man. We're definitely gonna keep that on top of mind and figure out how we can do it. We're gonna go ahead and let you guys go, man. There's a lot of stuff going on in the chat. If you guys get a chance, go back and check out the chat. There was a question up here, man, that I didn't want to let go. I'm gonna see if I can find it just real quick. There was somebody asking any recommendations. Oh, Ghost Listeners 402. Any recommendation or tricks to communicating with my Senator Linehan? Her office is getting tired of me. I don't know.
I would tell you, 402 Ghost Listener 402. Send me an email. I would tell you with revenue and what she's trying to do on education. I know me, Senator Mckinney, and I are overwhelmed. I can tell you that what she's trying to do with her party and everything, it's a little. I'm not making an excuse, but it's hard to get back to folks. And one thing people got to understand is in the last 2 weeks, I don't know about you, Senator McKinney, but I got over 3,000 emails. So between a couple controversial issues, I easily got 3,000 emails.
That's crazy. I think that's big. I think sometimes people think if you don't respond that you don't care. And it's honestly, sometimes it could be just, I got 3,000 emails. Your email got missed in the shuffle. It's not personal. It has nothing to do with the person. It's just the fact that we get so many calls, texts, emails a day. It's like information overload at times. But I would say next week, also on Tuesday, I have a bill that would stop the suspensions of kids in pre-K and second grade, and also another bill that will require better instruction for kids that get expelled as well.
What bill is that?
That is LB 632, and where is that other one?
Hey, he's looking at that whiteboard he wouldn't let me take from my office. I just want you to know.
LB 340, 632.
He told me I had a wrestling for it, and I was like, bro, I don't know anything about wrestling, bro. Go ahead and have the whiteboard.
Yeah, if he want to wrestle you for something, he can go on and have it. I ain't messing with him with the rest. You said LB 632, and which one? And what was the other one?
340.
340. All right, cool. We'll do some research on that. Definitely talk about that. Try to get some folks up, man, and
And
figure
it's
that
a
thing out.
limo registry bill also on Wednesday, but I'll share that information out as well.
Okay, cool. Appreciate it, man. Ghost Listener 402 said good insight. Thank you for that. Yeah, we thank you always for coming on, man. Before we get out of here, bro, happy Daylight Day. I don't know. I know you fellas are some Daylight Soul fans, right? This is the day. This is the day today, man. Rest in peace, True Goy the Dove.
Me, myself, and I beat in my head.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Hey, Paul. Here's what I'm gonna do for you. Send me a couple lines from whatever song from them, and I'm gonna read it into the record today. So I'm gonna push my button, and I'm gonna read it into the record today. So just let me know, you know. And one day when we pass all our bills, we're gonna play a game where y'all can pick some words out, and we'll have to work them into our arguments. And every time we say them, you know, we gotta do shots or something at night. We'll figure it out.
Okay.
Hey, I'm with it, man. I'm with that. I appreciate that.
All right. Hey, for real, text me what you want me to say, man.
Man, you know I'm on that. That's what's up. Appreciate you, bro.
Y'all be easy.
All right, take it easy. Peace. All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. The brothers senators, Terrell Mckinney, Justin Wayne. Put some respect on their names.
Man, dynamic duo.
Making it happen, putting stuff in the legal record today for Daylight Day. That's what's up.
man, Daylight on the docket.
On the docket, baby. That's what's going on. Hey, we'll take a quick break and come right back again. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B. Buddi3 Da Gawd.
Hey.
Chad Chambers, Ghost Listeners. Happy Daylight Day. It's going down, y'all. Shout out to the senators, man. Peace. Welcome back. First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the DS.
It's going down. Buenos dias all. Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate everybody that has joined into the chat here and have so much to say. If you missed any parts of the show, you can go back and check it out in its entirety. Go to First Sky Omaha, the Facebook page or the YouTube page, and check out the show. And when you do, definitely check out the chat. That's where a lot of the conversation is going down. Man. And a lot of the information is swirling around and the conversation is happening. So definitely check out the chat, and you can make comments and everything even after the fact. Of course, if you're a friend of First Sky Omaha, if you're in the group on Facebook, you can also drop in articles that you think are important. And also keep on commenting and having the conversation. The conversation goes on there when we are not live. So really, really appreciate that. The Hood Table said, great show this morning. Hey, Hood Table, we in season 5, but we still have plans to come on the show and have you come on the show here too. So let's keep those plans hot and make sure that we make that happen, man. I love the unity that we got going on here for sure. So appreciate it. Lucia Rodriguez gives us a yes. What's happening? She said in the DS. That's what's up.
That's for you.
Appreciate that very much. If it's a Daylight Soul Day, Daylight Day, hashtag Daylight Day. We've been talking about this all show, Daylight Soul's anniversary for a whole bunch of stuff. This is going to be like the official Daylight Day according to Rock the Bells. So if any of you are Daylight Soul fans and you have a line, apparently we can get a line to Brother Justin Wayne and he'll put it in the public record today. So but the legislature. So I'm already looking at some lyrics from Stakes is High because it's one of my favorite songs by De La Soul that I feel like is talking about some serious matters, and
That's too easy.
it might apply. I'm gonna make it easy for them. People
Yeah, I
need
mean, because the stakes are definitely high with some of these bills. The stakes are definitely high.
the cat says gun control means using both hands in my land. I mean, those are kind of these are some of the lines that are in this song. Is most definitely gonna get to the legislative floor today. So that's what's up.
Mayor Sanchez, now's your chance. Now's your chance.
Well, give me some old school lyrics, some daylight lyrics, Mayor Sanchez. What's up? What's up? Let's put some lines out there. Stacey Jean says, "Thank you, senators. Appreciate your efforts. Yeah, we appreciate them as well." 8:45 right now. The time just flies by. 8:45. You believe in the concept of time? That is. Appreciate everybody that's on today. Only about 15 minutes left in the show, but man, what a great experience to be able to. What a great privilege to be able to have the two senators on that are representing us in all kinds of ways. This is why it's important that we're talking about Daylight Day too, because these are some we got when we talk about the hip hop's 50 years and the influence of hip hop on culture. We got two senators in on the floor right now representing us that are born from hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And they've added a whole bunch of other things to their life. But it's been based on this culture that we can build, and we have an understanding. We can talk and have an understanding with them because of the fact that we have this base of understanding hip hop and being in the culture and the life and understanding what that means for all cultures, not just the Black community, but all communities. Because hip hop by itself is like a race. It's like a community of its own. And they say that Barack Obama is the first hip hop president. You know what I'm saying? He's dropping the mic. He's dropping the mic and stuff on stage, man. Like he's the first hip hop president. So and he's a Gen Xer. He's in my generation. We was born of hip hop. And that's just what's up, man. So we are here marrying that. You know, it's always going to be a thing. How does music and hip hop culture affect the culture? How do laws for that stuff affect the culture? You know, stories like people using lyrics to convict people and stuff like that is some of the stuff that we talk about off air, because this is all huge. This is all big. This is all huge. What's going on here and the influence? It feels like we have some people infiltrated into the legislature, man. That speaking our language is what it feels like.
Yeah, definitely about to infiltrate some daylight lyrics in that thing too.
Who's wait a minute. I'm seeing Kimmer say something about running for Wayne's seat. Ghost, there are some folks thinking about it.
Going back to a comment earlier, it says this is from Ghost. He says whoever running for Wayne's seat got a lot to match up to. Very few names come to mind. So yeah. And
Kimmer Snipes says she says Ghost, there are some folks thinking about it. Okay. And I can't wait to hear about who. And if Kimra Snipes, who does extensive homework on everything, is saying she knows two for sure, and she's saying that's the indication there is that they would be able to fill them shoes. They would be able to fill them shoes, or else I feel like she would be like, yeah, there's none. There ain't none right now that can do it.
Ain't nothing. But that's I'm glad you're thinking about that and putting that on the floor, and that in the conversation goes, because part of continuing what we're establishing now, as far as the relationship, the representation, the communication, as far as continuing that, succession planning is a part of that. So yeah, gotta think about it now. Who's next?
Yeah, who next? The succession plan. Kimmer Snipes, where Tony Vargas going? She said he on his way out too. What's going on there?
He's done serving?
Or is he moving? Is he moving in is he working for a higher position somewhere? Let us know what's going on there. I know
moving up in the east side.
He did run, so he might have those ambitions. We'll see. She says, I'm just saying I know two people who are thinking about it. That's all. Okay.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Ghost. Agree with Ghost. There's some big shoes to fill. And we kind of got lucky with Terrell McKinney and Ernie Chambers, that whole passing of the baton. But I think you mentioned it, or I think it was Senator Wayne, as far as that's what we need is a passing of the baton to keep this thing going. So Yeah, definitely appreciate the senators and appreciate you, Ghost, for putting that out there.
For sure, man. Got about 10 minutes left in the show. You want to do a little lightning round? What we got left as far as stories are concerned?
Yeah, we can do that. Just a few stories to get into before we get out of here. One is definitely something that's close to us. The Conrad bill which pushes to ensure Nebraskans have the greatest possible access, quote unquote, to public records. Again, public records gives entities like us and our partners at the Reader, Flatwater Free Press, you name it, access to more information and more of an insight of what's going on behind the scenes of some of our government agencies and entities. And as you've learned and as we've talked about on this show, sometimes that's not always easy, especially in the case of Flatwater Free Press, who got hit with a $40,000 price tag trying to get some information just so they can accurately report a story. And now this bill hopefully will aid in that. This is put on by Senator Daniel Conrad of Lincoln, and also ACLU, who's helping with this as well. So big news. We should be looking out for this, especially if you're invested or interested in making sure information gets out there and holding these agencies accountable. LB 366 would do just that. So that's a bill to look out for. Also, this bill is not happening in Nebraska, but this should be something we should look out for as well. This is actually coming out of my old hometown of Tallahassee, Florida. Shout out to Florida. But not shout out for this bill. SB 1248, which is very interesting, is actually calling for the elimination of political parties who at one point advocated for slavery or involuntary servitude. The outcome is that this could mean the Democratic Party gets ousted as a filing for a political party. I'll say this again.
Republicans pushing for this?
Of course. Of course. I mean, we're talking about Florida. You already know what DeSantis is up to.
Man, how ironic is that?
Yeah, man. It's very, very interesting. Again, SB 1248. If you remember, during Reconstruction, the Democratic Party was the party of slavery, was the slave owners' party. And shout out to Michelle, who's explained this on several soapbox moments, how at some point there was a switch, and now we have the grand old party of the Republicans, and what they stand for, and the Democratic Party. And it's very interesting. Yeah, it's very crazy. Kimra in the chat saying, ain't that crazy? Yes. SB 1248, something we should definitely pay attention to, could effectively eliminate the Democratic Party from or people from registering with the Democratic Party in the state of Florida. And they're going through the Division of Elections to cancel those filings. So yeah, very, very interesting.
Just want to say why that's interesting to me is, number one, the way this was presented. That this is a move to make it a one party state. That's too close to Hitler and the Holocaust and stuff for me. A one party state is we always complain about this 2-party state that we got going on, but a one party state is way worse. Number one. Number two, the rules they trying to make this thing happen on, if you ever push for slavery
or involuntary servitude,
that is so crazy that they would that's the criteria. This is definitely nuts. I don't see it holding up, but it's worth mentioning because I think it goes along with a lot of the playbook that we talk about all the time. When I think of stuff like that, when I think of pushing for a one party system, and I think of banning books, just them two things by itself is like, we might need to start looking at some other places to go, because that's what happened in Germany. And 4 or 5 years later, after they garnered all this real quiet support, the Holocaust started. But it started with burning books, one party systems, all this stuff, bro.
And definitely exactly what's happening in Florida, man. Like, it's almost like Florida man is the governor now. It's just interesting.
Kimber says, buddy, don't forget to vote on HB 422 down there. She got some.
What is that? What is that?
That's what's up. Ghost 402 says, think I know. Oh, he's talking to them about who's running. Okay, yeah, this I don't even know what else to say about this. That's just crazy, man. We talking about yeah. Anyway, let's move on past that.
Yeah.
Florida, you keep on talking about it being your home state and all this, but I'm gonna do Florida like how people be doing California all the time. Florida can break off and fall into the sea for all I care.
Well, half of it just might. Orlando and down might be in some trouble because that's nothing but flat. But yeah, that is interesting. And having lived in Florida, it's a different world. I will say that Florida, man, is a real thing. But moving along to some positive news. Shout out to you, Paul. You mentioned this at the top of the show. But a street is being named for the late great Brother Marshall Taylor. Again, that's I believe it is that portion of Lake Street right in front of right between Salem and the bookstore.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Man, beautiful. Yep, there goes the late great Brother Taylor, man. Just a pillar in the community, pillar in my life. I was one of actually I was privileged enough to teach some classes and to hold some study groups at the African American bookstore, and Brother Marshall Taylor was there to facilitate, there to kind of give me some tips as a facilitator of that and a teacher of that. I even got the opportunity to get some wisdom and see Brother Taylor tune in and attend some of the classes and give some information, man, and learn some things alongside the good brother, man. And not to mention all the work and just the presence that he had at the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation. His presence in the community is definitely missed, man. So it's beautiful to get his presence back a little bit in the form of that street. So yeah, definitely big shout out to Miss Annette, the store and the whole Taylor family.
Brother Marshall Taylor was best friends with my great uncle Jesse Allen. They used to run the streets together back in the day and hang out, and it's really interesting for him. I learned a lot and just heard a lot of stories. Not to mention, he was just a pillar in an elder in the situation that really looked after us in a big way. He was on the board of the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation when we were over there doing Mind and Soul. I made it a tradition that everybody who volunteered in Mind and Soul had to go over and have a conversation with Brother Taylor at the bookstore. And we a lot of our bonding came from that. Even when we had problems with some of the people on the board at Malcolm X, Brother Taylor was always there to be like, nah, y'all get that together. Y'all, let's sit down. Let's talk about this. Let's fix this and figure that out. And that happens to this day. I just had a conversation with Brother Leo Lewis yesterday, and we can always bond on the fact that we had this elder and this mentor in our lives that helped us stay together, get together, be together. The whole reason why we talk about collaboration instead of a competition in the Black community here in Omaha, Nebraska, is a lot of that is because of what he taught and reinforced with us and showed us how to do it in a real way. So
that's the important part.
Brother Taylor.
Showing us and being the message, man. So yeah, definitely shout out to that great brother. And when is this event? If anyone wants to show up,
I think I think it might have passed already, bro. To be honest with you, we'll have to take a look at it. I looked at this earlier in the week. It was coming up. We missed Wednesday, and I think that was when we needed to talk about it. We'll go back and try to find a date if there is one. But go visit African American Bookstore, man.
Yeah.
Ghostface, go. I always say Ghostface listener. Ghost listener 402 says street naming symbolic, programs in schools purchasing all books from there supportive. That's right. You got that right. Let's work on trying to get the education. That's where a lot of our education came from, man, was going to buying books there when we didn't have access to that in schools and stuff like that. So most deaf street naming is symbolic. We need the symbolism too. We need that symbolism too, but we need more hardcore stuff like purchasing books from there, being supporting that spot, getting some of those books in schools and so on and so forth, especially when they're trying to ban all that kind of thing right now. So, yep.
We need it.
Shout out. Yep. It is. We got about 2 minutes left in the show. I wanted to get you.
Got some haps?
I mean, kind of, sort of. We can throw a couple things out there. I will do that. And of course, if we're gonna do that, then we won't have to go ahead and drop the track because we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it properly. So here you go.
What's the haps? What's happening? What's going down?
The bass be hitting hard. Time for the haps. Only about 2 minutes left, so we're gonna run through them real quick. But thanks for joining us today. Don't forget to check out Edom Soul Music. There's a Sunday brunch happening at Benson Theater, 10 o'clock. This is on March 5th, so coming up this Sunday. With the stylings and beautiful voice and harp playing and everything of Edom Soul Music. She's gonna be entertaining us while we do the brunch. The brunch is from JoJo's Diner, So definitely check that out. Go to bensontheater.org, get your tickets. They're going fast. It's going to be a beautiful thing. So definitely check that out at the Benson Theater. Also at the Benson Theater, there's a show coming up March 11th, Hanky Panky a Funk Review Part 2. Definitely come and check that out as well. That was a great show, sold out last time. Live funk band, horn section and everything, man. And I'm playing drums in this band.
Hey.
So it's going down, man. Come check it out. It's a 21 and over show, March 11th at the Benson Theater as well. Go to bensontheater.org for tickets. I want to talk about the spelling bee that's coming up still, March 12th, 4 to 8. I think you can still enter, so definitely check that out. Powered by Bright Wheels Montessori School. Okay, so it's going down. Grand prize $500 though. Might want to check it out.
Hey.
Participants are ages 8 to 10. So if you have a speller in your household between those that age there, then definitely check it out. Go to call 402-708-3014 and get them registered. Getting in there, he might be able to help pay rent that day. So that's what's up. Happy De La Soul Day, as we said. Rock the Bells has declared this hashtag De La Day, and you can stream De La Soul records for the first time ever today. It just happened. It's the full catalog is now streaming 3/3/23. Definitely check out 3 Feet High and Rising. If you're not a De La Soul fan and you're just getting introduced and getting introduced with the one that they introduced themselves with the world when they did 3 Feet High and Rising. Very significant album. We'll be talking about that in the future on like why it's such an important album, but definitely stream it. Check it out today. Happy De La Soul Day. Rest in peace, Trugoy the Dove. Also, rest in peace, Wayne Shorter, bro. Wayne Shorter passed away yesterday.
Yeah, I didn't hear about that.
Yep, legendary saxophonist, man. Played with Herbie Hancock, played with Miles Davis, played with everybody, man. Back in the day, started Weather was one of the instrumental people that started Weather Report. Legendary cat. Everybody who plays the horn, he was their mentor. So shout out to Wayne Shorter and all his music, man. Go back and play a little bit of that as well. Here's Omaha's own Terrence Martin standing with Herbie Hancock and Wayne Shorter, 3 of my favorite musicians right there. We heard from Terrence about the loss here. So it's a big loss in the world of jazz and the world of Black classical music. Wayne Shorter, definitely check some of his work out as well. And that's pretty much all I'm gonna. Let's go ahead and show Art Battle coming up March 18th over at the Culture House. Definitely support that, man. This thing goes off. You talking about a culture of art? You just swimming in the art when it comes to this, and the competition is high energy. You get to meet a lot of different artists from all over town, see a bunch of different stuff you never thought you'd ever see, and it's a great format. Definitely check them out. March 18th, 2023 at 6 p.m. at the Culture House. Check out the Art Battle. 12 artists, 3 rounds, 1 champion. It's going down. So yeah, we'll put this in Friends of First Sky Omaha, and make sure that you guys check that out. So appreciate it very much. Thank you so much for coming through. We apologize for the Wednesday lack. It just so happened to be that Buddy was right in the middle of everything he was right in the middle of, bro.
Yeah, I was in the thick of it, y'all. I was in the thick of it. But we settled. We doing the thing. We here and we keeping it moving. So appreciate y'all. Appreciate your support. Appreciate your love. And continue being awesome.
That's what's up, buddy. You got some words for the people? Let's go ahead and get on.
Yeah, man. As always, again, appreciate you, love you, we thank you. Catch the same time, same place, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right here on First Sky Omaha in the morning, in the Diaz, in the Martin, whatever you want to say. But big shout out also to the dynamic duo, Senators Justin Wayne and Terrell Mckinney. Put some respect on their names. Got to say the whole thing for taking time out of their busy days and their busy schedules to speak with us, man. It really is, like you said earlier, it really is a privilege to be able to speak, to our senators and not just vote them in office and, kind of let them go do what they do, but stay in communication, stay in conversation, stay in contact, and stay on top of what's going on, man. So that's what it's about. Appreciate them, appreciate you. And without further ado, Paul B, take it away.
Man, appreciate everybody that's coming on through as well. Great. That woman says, great show. I like that we don't always agree, but we still we all still have value in the conversation. Drink your water, direct your money. Check your lawn for potholes. Potholes in my lawn. That's what's up. Be good to yourselves. Appreciate you very much. Happy De La Day. Happy De La Day to you. Leia Keister says, crushed another week. Thanks for all you do. Have a great weekend, everyone. Thank you, Leia Keister. Appreciate that. Happy Friday to you.
Hey.
Pop says this Friday show has been extraordinary and it has traveled at the speed of light. Love you all and see you on Monday. Have a great weekend. Appreciate you, Pops. You have a great weekend too. I'll definitely give you a call this weekend and catch up on a couple things with you. And we'll definitely see you on Monday. So stay tuned. Keep hold of each other, man. Really check on each other throughout the weekend and all that. Ghost Sisters 402 says props to them for not being petty leaders and blocking communication with people online. That's what I'm talking about, man. Yeah, I really appreciate that. Learning that about them over time. That they put their money where their mouth is when it comes to this stuff, man. They're doing the best they can. I always try to remind people this is the legislative. Being a senator ought to be a full-time job,
Man.
but you got to have a full-time job to be a senator unless you're well off. But these brothers work full-time jobs, coach, go to school. Brother Mckinney goes to law school while he's trying to do this. So if he's backed up on emails, it's real legit. You only get $12,000 a year to be a senator. So these brothers are giving of their time in a big way. So that's what's up. Marianne Williams is reminding us, tune into the legislature this morning is going to be educational. Most definitely, we'll definitely try to remember to post that on Friends of First Sky Omaha too, the live session. Josh Take says, so glad I tuned in today. Gives me a lot to think on this weekend. Thank you. Appreciate you, brother Tag. Appreciate all of you. Appreciate the Omaha tribe elders who allow us to be on this land and speak while we're here. I appreciate our elders who allow us to speak before them. And I appreciate all of you, the chat chimers that allow us to speak with you, and all the ghost listeners and all the supporters, the $10, $25 a month, $50 a month supporters. Really appreciate everybody that does this so we can keep this going. Shout out to Julian Young Business Advisory. If you have a small business, you need to go check them out, bro. You're getting strategic planning at a huge discount with some coaching. Definitely check out Julian Young and Associates. Definitely check out Stable Gray if you have any media needs as well. We're coming in and figuring out who the black businesses and the entities are that are displaying excellence and are helping us even get to the next level. And so shout out to them. Shout out to everybody. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much. The session is starting now, so I'm going to go ahead and post that on Friends of First Sky Omaha. Hey, that's what's up. That's what's up.
Shout out. Yeah.
Shout out to Julian Young and financial advisory. That's what's going on. That's what you need. So I appreciate it. We'll see you Monday. Dig into all this stuff, man. Really go back and check out the shows and what was going on in the chat, and really see what's happening. And let's continue this conversation to help us do some of this. Some of the stuff with the bills, some of the research on the bills, so we can suss out the nuances of how to get some support and so on and so forth. So really appreciate everybody's time on that and action on that. First Sky Omaha in the morning. We're out.
In the morning.
Hey, you guys have a good one. Peace.
By the way, Vanglorious. This is protected by the red